Hey there, people of the grid. All right. It's been a few days. My day is done here. Let's take a look at this OneWheel, shall we? It's OneWheel wheel changing time. First wheel I've ever changed on the OneWheel. I'm prepared. I've gone to the internet. I've watched a bunch of videos. I think this is going to go beautifully. I'm going to start it tonight. I've got a couple hours, and then I've got to run out, but let's see how far we get. All right, here's the OneWheel. We need to remove a whole bunch of screws, not on the battery pack side, but on the controller pack side. So basically on the side that sits up, I'm going to be removing the foot pad. I'm going to be removing the plastics underneath so that we can get to the connectors, unhook them. That frees the wheel. Then we can undo the wheel and drop the wheel right out if all goes well. Let's see. So that little process took 20 minutes. I've got to go pick up Amelia at school. 20 minutes to get the foot pad off, to get the connectors disconnected. That was actually the scariest part. See, there's a little white tab that you got to pull out. Once that white tab is out, you have to push down on the black part. It's almost like got a thing. You push it down, it releases, and then use a little screwdriver just to back off the connector. That's all you got to do. Don't force it. If it's not coming back, it means you haven't pushed down hard enough on that black connector. I had to try it with the screwdriver first, and you hear a little click. That's when you know you've pushed it down because it's released, so click. So I've got a couple more things to do. You know what? That went a lot easier and a lot faster than in all the videos I've seen. There's only one video where it went that well. So basically, you're exerting straight downward force. That's why I had to pull it out so I could get my body weight on top of it. Straight downward force just outside the axle. I put my knee on the back end of the tire so that it wouldn't flip over with me doing that. Then you have to do the same for the other side. Now, there's a trick to removing the wheel off of the rim. The rim isn't perfectly round shaped. I'll show you. There, you see how it's nice and smooth there? Let's get a light on that. See how it's nice and smooth? Check out the other side. See that right there? Basically, that divot, that's the egress point for the tire. So I'm going to pull it off of that side, and I'm going to put the inside edge of the tire into that kind of divot, if you will. That'll help me get a proper angle to easily remove it. You can remove it off the other side, but it is a lot of work. That's where I saw a lot of people struggling with their OneWheels. So find that divot. That's the side you're going to come off of. So you kind of Going to pull it up to that side and get the outside of the tire into that divot so that the inside of the tire can just come up and over the rim. See how that goes. Ooh. All right, I got the tire off. You know what? It wasn't that bad. The reason I was so worried about doing this is because I saw so many people struggling, and then they would time lapse what seemed like 45 minutes to an hour of fighting with this stupid thing to get it off. If you do the trick with that little dip that's in the axle, that's the best way to do it. That's how you get it off, and then reverse order to get it back on using that same little divot. So that's going to be pretty easy, I expect. I'm really impressed. I didn't even hurt our tile floor or our hardwood floor. See, I don't have a workbench in here, but this has gone better than hoped. Okay, let's keep going. I got another hour before I have to run. When I made a note of how to put the new tire back on, see, it only has the word Vega written on one side. So the Vega logo goes on the same side as the air stem, which is the same side as my OneWheel's power port is. So Vega, stem, power, all on the same side. Easy. Just like they say in the videos, super easy. There is a trick to it. If you change these tires regularly, you could do it super easy. Once you do it once, you're like, yeah, that was super easy. But getting to that point, that took a while. How long did I wrestle with that for? Probably half an hour. But it's on, so now I'm going to throw some air into it. Now with the air, you air it up. You have to hear it pop so it seats on the bead, which means you're going to over-pressurize it. So not for the faint of heart. Now to overinflate it so that it seats on the bead, I'm going to go get my valve stem removal tool. I think I have one somewhere here. Basically what you want to do is remove that valve stem that's inside the filler nozzle. That way, when you put air in, as soon as you take off the hose, the air is going to rush back out. You don't want to leave the tire overpressurized for a long amount of time anyway, so it's about the safest way to do it. So let's go find that tool. Safety's number one priority. Okay, I didn't have a stem remover, but I do have that little pressure checker, and that has a dump valve on it, so I can dump air out of the tire really quickly. So here we go. Oh yeah, perfect. Heard the first pop, heard the second pop, scared the crap out of me. Release the air pressure. I'll check it later. I think I'm down at around 10 PSI right now, but if I remember correctly, my happy place was around 24, 25 PSI. So this part is done and it's looking great. The one thing I didn't do is I didn't put goop back in. I need to get that stem removal tool, because when you put the goop in, you don't want the stem in the way. So I got to get the stem out, then I can pour the goop in, then you put the stem back in, then you air it up. But that's for another day. We took a quick break there for supper. I have about 35, 40 minutes max before I got to go. I'm going to try and get this thing put back on. She's all done, guys. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I got so excited. I was putting pressure on the wrong pad. So I took it to the front door and then I tried it out because you don't know if those connectors are in. They don't really make a snap or anything. They just kind of slot in and then you tighten them on, the waterproof thing. But they're in. So here's the tools you need. Phillips screwdriver, and a flat is nice too to pry out the connector. Little set of pliers just to undo the waterproofing covers, and then your Allen keys of different sizes, and a lot of brute force. Mission accomplished. Oh, one last note. I didn't tighten the 4 bolts that hold the wheel in place. You do that last, and you do it while the one wheel is suspended in midair, kind of between 2 chairs, like this. You get the idea. It just needs to be kind of floating level, and then you tighten all 4 screws, about the same tightness, and you are good to go. It's raining outside, so no one-wheeling today, but it's all juiced up. It's all ready to go. I'm pretty excited. Not a bad project. Skill level is hard if you've never done this before, like me. It can be done though, even though I never did it before. The hardest part, honestly, is just getting that wheel off the rim and then getting it back on. That is about the hardest thing in there. The rest is just basic, undoing things and doing them back up. Thanks for watching. Give this one a thumbs up. Miker out.